welcome to the first episode of 5 Minutes with FESPA, a brief fly-by tour of the upcoming event in the Middle East that FESPA have organised for the second year. Now, I'm very happy to be joining the team for this second event. My name is Richard Askam. I'm going to be working as the host across the stage for the first 2 days. I'll also be speaking on day two about all things print, all things digital, all things personalisation, all things AI. I mean, we've got so much to cram in. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do that in 3 days, but I've got myself an apprentice this year who joins me on the call. Good morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Richard. Thank you. Yes, a master's apprentice, I think, is
I'm being unfair because Chris is a brilliant speaker on stage. He and I have worked together all over the world over the last few years. And I'm delighted to be working with you, Chris, on this event because I know you're a little bit more involved in the organisation and the production of the show. Is that right?
Yes, sir. So I've been very fortunate that I'm local to FESPA Middle East these days. I'm down the road in Muscat. So I guess you could say I'm a local now. So I've been very excited. Last year was the inaugural event. Some fantastic feedback on the first ever FESPA Middle East. So we've used that enthusiasm. We built something we feel was quite exciting. And FESPA are very kindly putting on some very good speakers, yourself included, obviously, and some extra takeaways. So I think if you're in the area during that time, you have to come by and check it out.
So this is January the 20th, 21st and 22nd in Dubai. I'm really looking forward to it. It's my first time in Dubai. So there's an awful lot packed into that program. Let's see if we can pick out a few highlights, Chris, if you want to go through day one and just tell me what it is that people can look forward to.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a theme for me that runs through all 3 days, Richard, and that's going to be AI. You can't get away from it. It's part of our lives. It's here to stay. And that's something that I feel that FESPA have really invested in this year. They're looking at how can AI benefit the PSP? How can it benefit the hardware manufacturer, the supplier, anybody in the industries? So you'll see that thread running through the 3 days, but also important topics such as developing businesses in other GCC territories as well. So we're going to kick off day one. We've got a fantastic conversation with the future of visual communications, trends and industry insights, and more importantly, how to do business in Saudi Arabia, which, as we all know, is a powerhouse in the making right now. Penetrating the African market. It's a big growth market as well in print, obviously. But we finish off day one with a fireside chat with yourself, and we're looking at the power of AI. And again, it's embracing that lack of fear, but more embracing how can it help me be more productive and more efficient in the 21st century.
And it's the big words, isn't it? Well, big letters, really. Of course, anybody that can spell knows that AI is already in Dubai. But it's also in sustainability. It's also in media. Everywhere you look, there are the letters A and I. And I think it's time, really, that these conversations were had out loud. I'm really looking forward to the fireside chat because it gives us a chance to just discuss and just chitter-chatter, really, about how the feeling of AI affects different businesses. We read a lot, don't we, in the media about how AI is going to change everybody's lives. Well, let's talk about how, and let's talk about, that always brings with it a certain fear or a certain trepidation. For me, I think it's only positive, and I would be really interested to chat with my guests on day one and really get that sense of how that feels in the region.
So we'll come to the guests in a second, but you have a fantastic panel for that fireside chat. You mentioned sustainability. That actually kicks off day two. We have personalisation and sustainability for day two. And your good self actually is taken to the microphone to share your experiences. Those that know FESPA well will recognise you from the personalisation experience, both in Amsterdam and in Munich. I'm really pleased personally, coming from a web to print and personalization background, to see you sharing the experiences of working with brands like Coca-Cola, Marmite, Toblerone, Kit Kat, Nutella, and I've probably forgotten some, so I apologise. But I'm excited to hear about your journey with those brands and bringing personalization to the masses, but then how that is going to evolve into AI and sustainability. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. Of course, staying with sustainability module, we've got the regional challenges and digital transformation in the printing industry as well. And then also how sustainability meets technology. So we have some really, really good content to share there. And I think ethical content as well. And I think that's important. We talk about AI, it's the modern feature now for most businesses, but it's ethics as well is right up there with technology.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've had several calls already with the speakers on day two, just to sort of line them up to what they can expect. And what I get from a sense from all of them is the excitement of being able to first and foremost tell their story. I think it's always hugely important in this industry that people share their stories. It's a wonderfully collaborative industry. I've found that wherever I've been in the world. I'm very lucky that I've been doing this for a long time. I'm now the old man of print, Chris, which I take no pleasure in. But that personalization story continues. I'm sort of going to do the previous season of Netflix personalization, and then we'll let these guys take on the new season. But it's fascinating to hear how that's going to develop in this region. It's always interesting to be at the start of any journey. And so I'm genuinely looking forward to coming out, not least of which, because it will be about 30 degrees warmer than where I'm currently sitting.
No comment on the weather. Just the point on age and personalization. I think that the key thing is here that age is irrelevant. It's about an open mindset, and you have an open mindset. Our panelists have an open mindset, and the FESPA member base do as well, which is why they embrace this kind of education series. So I think it's really exciting that we have businesses that are open-minded to trying new things and are willing to put some of the anxieties and fears to one side and trying to develop their businesses. Day three, unfortunately, Richard, I can see that you're not with us. You're heading back to Blighty probably, I guess. Like you say, a little bit colder there in January. But we are kicking off an AI themed day, funny enough, with day three, which I had the pleasure of hosting. The apprentice takes over from the master, I think is how you would phrase it. We're going to start off with an introduction to AI. And that will be the first session for day three. Really go right back to the beginning. What is it? Why do we need it? How's it going to help us? The good, the bad, the ugly, and try and get over some of those what people will perceive as silly questions, but of course no question is silly.
Exactly.
I don't want to go too much into who's attending just yet, because I don't want to ruin it for who you're going to be speaking to on this 5 minutes with FESPA. But three of our guests, Ian Swarbrick of XL Mia Group, Carlo Pepe and Rob Hayes of the Kashima Group, are kindly putting together what they term the AI Lab. So the AI Lab will be running at the end of day three, and everyone will be welcome. All you need to do is sign up via the FESPA app. And they're going to look at how, in a short form of a course, really, bit of a sort of a workshop to see how the AI can help not just one area of the business, but multiple departments in your business. So, for example, let's think further than sales or marketing. Let's look further away from ChatGPT for a minute, but let's look at how AI in leadership can work, or in operations or production, or building a foundation for the future. So they won't necessarily give you all the answers to how AI can complement all your departments, but they'll certainly give you the guide and the blueprint on how you can get started. So I'm personally very excited about this for day three, because it's a lab, it's a workshop, of course, that FESPA are being able to give the user and the attendees free of charge. And I think it's something that just shows giving back to the PSP at these events is so important.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them in white coats and safety goggles. I'm assuming that's what an AI lab is. I don't know, but what I do know, Chris, is that these guys have forgotten more than I'll ever know about the use and the benefits of AI, and it's fabulous to get them involved on day three. I'm handing my baton over to you to run that stage. I know you'll do it beautifully, but I'm genuinely looking forward to this whole event. As I say, first time in Dubai, looking forward to coming out in the middle of January for the FESPA Middle East show. And thank you again for getting me involved.
Absolutely, Richard. We obviously, you have an amazing, pivotal part in the personalization experience over in Europe. And we're very excited that we could bring you over here and get the information out of your head and share it with the communities over here. That's our objective. So
I'll try and not have too much fun at Christmas then on that basis alone.
Keep a clear head.
It's lovely chatting with you, Chris. As always, look forward to seeing you in person in January. And if you do want to come along to the show, have a look now. Details are underneath this somewhere about how you can book a ticket. And we'd be delighted to see you at FESPA Middle East in the middle of January.